And welcome back to the Roller Derby City Track here on day 3 of the Men's Roller Derby World Cup in very sunny, very warm Barcelona. Thank you for joining us, whatever time of day or night it is where you are on your Saturday. But we're just going to take a look at the 4 teams that have just left the Roller Derby World Cup, the 2 games that we've just both watched. So Denmark-Colombia.
Oh, so good. Incredible start to the game for both teams. I believe in the first 10 minutes we had 5 or 6 lead changes. Really real back and forth. At one point, the lead was changing every jam. Phenomenal work from both teams. Then Denmark kind of switched up their jam rotation and stopped scoring. We had 8 consecutive jams with no points on the board for Denmark. Colombia just touring. Great work as a jammer. It's incredibly hard, but the depth and breadth of jammers that Colombia had was phenomenal. First 5 jams, we had a different jammer each jam. And they continued in that sort of fashion throughout the game. By the end of it, we had multiple different people jamming, probably half the squad, if not more. Colombia just incredibly fierce, incredibly well drilled, and they just were absolutely together. Denmark obviously skated with a much smaller squad, and you could see that they got tired. Colombia run them ragged, but they fought right until the end.
And having literally just this moment finished, the scores have just come in on the Poland-Philippines game. Poland finishing that with 138 to Philippines 216. And I think that Poland in the second half came back a much stronger team. There was a point where they were 6 leads in a row, having barely got lead throughout the entire game. And it was more just the Philippines conceding a few points here and there. And that second half is when things really intensified. You had the likes of Torpedo working incredibly hard. Pika as well deserves an honourable mention for that game. But those 2 games, for now, those 4 new teams leave us. And just talk us through the rankings, if you don't mind, King.
Yeah, those were games for the rankings 21st through 24th. So as a result, we'll finish in 21st, then 20th, Philippines 20th, and 24th place Poland. But all 4, to have to say, all brand new to the World Cup, and they've all brought something different, and they've all certainly added to the event and the experience.
Absolutely. So we now look ahead to what's about to happen, something that excites the Roller Derby City Track, because they have turned up in full force. The crowd's eagerly awaiting what's about to happen. The semi-final that sees England take on Australia. Troja, what's your thoughts on what we're about to see on the track?
Well, you know, Australia, yesterday they beat Argentina, and I see that they have this kind of strong game, very good jammers. And England, it was always a good team, so I think they should maintain the level during the years. But I think that most teams each time are reaching the same level, so I think it's going to be a very, very interesting game to see. Australia just came to a beautiful level, and I'm doubting about the result about this one.
Yeah, I mean, we watched England play Mexico, didn't we?
Yeah, I think what both teams have had in this tournament so far has been a wake-up call. Australia in their final group game were pushed a lot harder by Scotland than a lot of people expected.
Than I think even Australia expected.
Exactly, and I think that gave Australia the wake-up call. They'd had it fairly comfortably through the tournament so far, and they then showed up and showed what they're capable of against Argentina last night. England against Mexico in the first half.
Where were they?
Were scrappy, they were poor.
Yeah.
Second half they were much, much better. You and I were stood trackside watching it.
The second half England is the England that people would be wanting to see for the entire game.
It'll be the England that people expect to see.
Yeah.
They finished second at both previous Men's World Cups. They did play Australia in the first World Cup in the quarterfinals and won that, I can't remember the score, but relatively comfortably. Australia have improved a hell of a lot. With the likes of Sydney City Smash, Victorian Vanguard being MRDA members has really helped them. And it's going to be close.
It's going to be a hard fight for everybody.
I think what it's going to come down to is penalties.
Yeah,
you stay clean, you win.
Exactly.
So we're going to be back here at half-time when we'll look over what we've seen in the first 30 minutes of the game. In the meantime, we're going to hand you over and leave you in the very capable hands of the great Smacksby and the wonderful Julius Sleazer.